So Narc actually made a video about this game. He made a video that's not about Ashes of Creation. So let's take a look at it.
Hey, what up, boys? So, you and I, we're not a large channel, are we? We're just a small team of copium addicts hoping the MMORPG genre will get better under the mantle of a self-funded passion project.
Oh, it'll get better,
Over the years,
for
we've
sure.
been huffing the good stuff. There have been many games that have come, taken a giant shit in front of our eyes in the form of their marketing campaigns, left a disgusting wet stank in its wake, and then disappointed us to no end.
Ugh.
I won't name any names because unfortunately, modern day MMORPG audiences can't handle the truth. However, recently, an MMO has popped up seemingly out of the blue that has caught my attention.
Here we
I've
go.
all but ignored minor projects up until this point, but this time, I actually want to give PAX Day my attention because, I'll admit, I was sold by their pitch, not for its next generation graphics or gameplay, not for any kind of groundbreaking promises, but because for the first time since I started making videos, Mainframe, the developer of this game, have actually announced their project correctly. And I'm excited to discuss this with you all today, but before we get into that...
Yeah, I'm ready.
Patrons and I would love for you to...
God damn, he has a lot of
grab
them.
yourself
Holy
off.
shit.
Go bag Yola, because PAX Day is a sandbox PvX MMO that reminds me a lot of Mortal Online 2. Whoa. I didn't finish, sir. Reminds me a lot of Mortal Online 2 if it wasn't utter unplayable dog shit. And if everything we discussed today pans out as planned, I think we have a winner on our hands that might just release before 2077.
I also think another thing that some games have is they have a lot of unnecessary complexity. Like, I remember whenever I was playing Mortal Online 2, like, being able to make a weapon had, like, so much complexity to it that it was exhausting and, like, really hard to get into. And I hope this game doesn't have that. And if it does, it's only at, like, the very highest levels.
Now, with all that bollocks out of the way,
The Queen and Country!
Oh, shit.
Let's begin, shall we?
so right off the bat, I just want to say that this is how you announce a project to the public.
Yeah, I would
no
say
begging
so.
for pledges, no unrealistic promises, just a straight up, to the point talk about the game and its vision with enough solid gameplay to give us a clear indicator of what type of game it's going to be. PAX Day...
I think that's a really good point. They just straight up said, hey, we're really excited about this game. Sign up if you want to play it. We'll let you know. That's it.
is a social sandbox MMO inspired by the legends of the medieval era, focusing on community and emergent gameplay at its core. Overall, it is pretty much exactly what Mortal Online 2 should have been.
Yeah.
In more layman's terms, with the current information we know, from my perspective, this game feels much closer to Rust or Ark with a slight MMO twist, and as our video progresses, we'll discuss these MMO aspects in more detail. From the announcement, Mainframe and its team seem very switched on and mature, not throwing any kind of useless buzzwords out there to weave.
I also noticed that, and this is a thing, it's like, I've noticed that with a lot of Scandinavians, they usually don't fuck you around with buzzwords as much. They're like, this is game. We hope game is good. We hope you play game. We hope you like the game. All right. Oh, by the way, this is the game. Here is the game. Look at the game. That's it. I very much appreciate that. It's great.
Fake promises of groundbreaking tech, just a straight-up solid sandbox-esque game utilizing the power of Unreal Engine 5's tools to deliver...
And also, by the way, I don't think that is like a lack of social skills. I think it's a level of social awareness that a lot of other people don't have that I wish they did have. Nobody wants to get hyped up and fucking, oh my god, it's gonna be so fucking awesome, oh my god. Right? It's just, it's genuine, it's direct, no frills, it's to the point.
player-driven content in both PvE and PvP settings. The game is being designed with the PC platform in mind, however, the team want to expand into other consoles and handhelds because of the nature of Unreal Engine 5's compatibility.
Yes.
However, initially, Mainframe are just focused on launching the game on Steam for the moment,
is
indicating to me
right
at
thing.
least that they have their priorities straight when it comes to development. Thank God for that. But all this is useless without the context of gameplay. So let's talk about that using the few limited clips that we saw during this showcase. It looks like this game is utilizing a third-person action combat style that offers free aiming with bows and ranged weapons,
Yeah, it's like
and
New
a
World.
very Dark Souls style of combat. Pretty much everything kids these days have been asking for. There were multiple clips
I don't know if I've seen Dark Souls style combat yet.
off the ranged combat with the bows, but only one clip really showing off the melee combat. But as you can see, it is pretty much some kind of Dark Souls, New World, or Conan Exiles type of combat that appeals
Yeah, I'm not, like, super hyped up about the combat. At least the melee combat doesn't really look that good, but it's very hard to do it right.
to pretty much everyone. Now, even though it is plastered on the screen for you,
The reason why it's Dark Souls is because it's a game. That's why. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
reminder that this is just pre-alpha gameplay, and there's likely a very
And Dark Souls
specific
is also a
reason
game.
why we only see a little bit of the actual combat for now. Personally, I'm pleased to see this style of sandbox MMO go in this direction because I thoroughly enjoyed Conan Exiles as a game, and
Never
I'm
played
excited
it.
to see a next-generation medieval-themed MMO push the boundaries of what it can do within the sandbox genre.
What about the content? Yeah,
So,
that's a
as
big part
new
of it.
player, you're stationed in a place called the Heartlands. Within this space, you're pretty much safe and protected from threats and PvP by what is known as the Divine Peace. In the Heartlands, it seems players are able to build, create communities, gather basic materials, and craft weapons, armor, and consumables in a tiered crafting bench system. The one we saw in the clip
Yeah,
was
I think that's kind of like how New World works, and I think New World crafting is good in a lot of ways. I do also hope that clearly clearly by them saying that there is a safe zone, that implies that there is a unsafe zone. And I hope that whenever you're talking about building like massive structures like castles and things like that, that those types of structures are only buildable in the non-safe zone areas. So they're subject to siege or, different types of resource requirements, etc. It makes it more interesting.
an alchemy station, but there are no doubt many, many more, like a blacksmith, a leatherworking station, and anything else you can think of within this style of game. Again, Mortal Online 2 comes into mind here. And this is where the casual and hardcore players begin to mix. As a solo or casual player, much like any sandbox game, you do have an important role to play. Gathering rare materials, progressing deep into certain professions, offering your services to those hardcore players who are focusing on the combat and PvP side of the game. This is the same concept in all PvX games, MMO or not. You don't need to participate in PvP and the drama that's happening, but the fact that it is happening gives the world purpose and context. Something very
Oh yeah, I think so. And I think even the people that don't participate in drama for a lot of these games appreciate that it exists.
is sorely missing from our currently popular MMOs. Without said context or purpose, the economy doesn't exist, and a sandbox game is nothing without its economy. Just because the game has PvP doesn't mean the players who don't like PvP have no place in it. This is the exact purpose of the Heartlands. It gives
Yeah, I think that's what it really matters, is like you don't want to have a game where people are forced into doing PvP in order to play the game. I think that in general, anytime that a game has non-consensual PvP, this is probably a bad thing. Now, I'm sure there's like some exceptions, but overall, forcing people into doing something that they don't want to do on a fundamental level is bad. And nobody's going to appreciate that.
non-hardcore or PvP players
nobody,
a
but very
location
few
to
people.
settle and progress, meet up with their friends, and build a community through socialization and through the physical gameplay of building as well. But what happens next? When you're settled in the Heartlands and have a nice place to live, progressed your crafting as far as it will go, what does this game actually offer as content? Well, they didn't discuss much about the specifics behind the delivery of it, but PAX Day offers its adventures outside the borders of the Heartlands. Once you pass these borders, you're no longer protected by the Divine Peace and are subject to both PvP and increased PvE threats. They mention the further out from the Heartlands you go, the more dangerous it gets, hinting that they will be touching upon legends, myths, and fables that were around during medieval times.
Yeah, which makes sense.
The example we saw was a demonic being, but it will no doubt also involve more typical medieval myths and fables like
Strangle
the
that bitch.
Manticore, mermaids, ogres,
Yep.
wyverns, and unicorns, just to name a few. They could even touch upon some really interesting stories out there, like two tribes of centaurs battling against each other, or the demonic...
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is to have a baseline of like making things that are realistic, but at the same time, the realism is like it's like realism and the realistic fantasy, or like not realistic fantasies, but like the historical fantasy is like that's the building ground, and then they build off of that.
Eruption of a dragon egg and the process of cleansing it. The potential of this is really wild, and when we learn more about the delivery of this, I think it will make or break the game. They mentioned a lot about procedural generation, so if that means that these pockets of land outside the Heartlands are generated per server randomly, like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, or if
I think I think that what they're talking about is how with Unreal, if you make one tree, the game will automatically generate, or the program will automatically generate a bunch of other trees that have slight variations that you set. I think that's what they're talking about with procedural generation. Like, they're not talking about the whole game is made randomly.
they're separate instances like a grid, we simply don't know. However, they claim it will be massive, but this is par for the course when Unreal Engine 5 is involved. Overall,
Also, this game, I will say very early on, I want it to just be one big server. Everybody on the same server. Oh, it'll be chaotic. There'll be people everywhere. Exactly. That's right. I want people everywhere. Everybody fighting for land. Everybody complaining, getting mad. Absolutely. Overpopulate the fuck out of it.
the game not only looks great, but the team, the way they describe their philosophies and direction, definitely feels like a genuine attempt at putting out a unique, solid game. Mainframe are not asking for a penny right now, and from this initial gameplay discussion...
I think that's also very, very telling. They're actually not asking for money.
I, for one, am excited to see what comes from this MMO, and have most certainly put it on my wish list. But as usual, I am just one nerd, desperate for a good MMO. And my opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. And as I said, I think this game reminds me a lot of something like Conan Exiles, but with a slight MMO twist. And regardless of if this game appeals to you personally or not, I think this studio is worth supporting because it's...
Yeah, absolutely. There's no fucking... There's no pay-to-win shit that they're talking about. There's no support the game early and you get a bunch of free bonuses. There's no... I mean, they're not using buzzwords to try to sell you on the game. Yet. Or everything is always yet. I mean, again, I deal with everything as it is now. Everything is yet. Everything changes.
A developer like Mainframe comes along with a genuinely well-made announcement. As always, I want to thank my patrons. You guys are the ray of hope that reminds me my life is worth waking up for, and without your support, this balding, middle-aged man wouldn't be able to live his dream of talking shit on the internet. If you made it to the end of the video, surely it's worth giving a like.
Go.
And if you are a sad, lonely copium addict, it's probably best if you joined your brothers and sisters and subscribe to this channel, because you're high on copium.
There it is. I do really hope this game is good. I'm gonna be honest. I
Hey, what
really,
up,
really,
boys?
really fucking hope this game is good. Oh man, like yeah, Cody, you're powered out. Yeah, I got a notification saying that there's like severe thunderstorm warning in my area. So if I go offline, guys, you know what happened. It can knock my power out. Apparently it's already happened to other people. Yeah, I'll link you guys the video right now. No, it's not a big deal. Who cares? It'll be fine. Yeah, stay safe. Yeah, how's your car? I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. If it becomes a big issue, I'll just make sure I park it in the street so it's not, a tree branch can't fall on it or something like that. And, yeah, make sure your phone's charged. Oh, that's a good idea. Thanks. Yeah, I'll do that. It's actually, like, almost uncharged. Yeah, stay safe. Oh, I'll be fine. I mean, it's not like this is a... It's not like it's water, guys. It's just a rainstorm. It's not like I'm gonna... I mean, maybe I could get hit by thunderbolt. Yeah, I don't know. But it seems kind of unlikely for that to happen. So I'm not worried about it. And I'm just saying it could knock out my power. It's happened multiple times before. Yeah, there's the video right there. That's the Narc video. I'm glad that he's covering more games besides Ashes. And again, if this game is good, let's read some of the comments in this. I love you covering other games besides this, or I love seeing another possibly great MMO in the works. Absolutely. I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. Yeah, of course. I just hope this game is good and they have an actual... Like, there's an actual player base, and the design of the game, they have a philosophy behind it. Because oftentimes, whenever a game gets developed, I think it's always a balance between making content that makes players happy and making content that's good for the game. So if they're able to do that in the right way, I will be very happy.